Hey, welcome to the 24K Life podcast. I am your host, Derick, Gant. Now, I believe extremely strongly, if you've listened to any of our content, and if you haven't, I'm going to give it to you anyway. We believe in the 24K life. The 24K life. What does it take to become 24K? Well, just like gold, we have to go through a process of eliminating things that do not aid our acceleration to greatness, to the people that we want to be, to the lives that we want to live, to the children we want to raise. And in that light, we are consistently bringing you brilliant minds, hearts, and souls that can help round out the services and the ideas that we actually present in the 24K Life community. So we are very excited to bring people on that will help you make your life better, make your family better. And, we are bringing in a special guest today from Lake Tahoe. I said it, Lake Tahoe. If you don't know anything about anything, you can ski there, you can fish there. They got crystal clear waters there. I've never been, but I got to go after hearing about it. Do you want to come with me? We're going to talk to Mari Collins-Harris, who has a company called Ketshop, and they are interested. They are intent. They are focused. They are hell-bent on changing the dynamics of finance in our young youth minds. You know what? If we could start people off right financially, we'd be in a different world. I'm sure that's part of their mission. Mari, how are you?
I'm doing great. Yeah, thanks for that lovely intro.
It is what it is. You guys are doing something that I think is just so impactful. I know you could change the world. This could change the world. Think about it this way. And I haven't even introduced you yet or let you welcome yourself yet. But think about it this way before we even get in it. The number one cause for divorce. Let me back up. Divorce domestically is, as we all know, is over 50%. And then we have to go, how many relationships are actually good? So let's tack on another 10%. So 60% of people aren't liking each other. And then they say the number one cause for divorce is a lack of communication, okay? Or communication. And then I come in as a financial consultant and go, what are they talking about? Money. The number one conversation is money. So you can say the number one cause. So when I say you can change the world, you and your husband and your company, I'm saying that in all honesty because the family is what holds everything together at the right value proposition, right? It's the right value proposition that really makes life better for everybody when we have families, because that's love. And if you could affect that, keeping families together, maybe I'm putting too big of a mantle on you and your husband.
I appreciate it. We're totally out here saving the world.
This is what I see day to day, when I work with people, and if we could catch them early. So tell us a little bit about you, your husband, and how you started this company.
Yeah. So our company is called Ketshop, as you said, and we started the company about 3 years ago. It was the middle of COVID, and my then 5-year-old was like hell bent on buying a RC car. And I was like, I don't want that. It tears up the lawn. It's noisy. It takes batteries, like kind of dangerous. Don't want it. But he was motivated. And so he was raking leaves, mowing lawns, like doing all these chores. And I was like, all right, shoot, you got to say yes when a kid's like got that chutzpah to make it happen.
He's gonna earn his own money. Come on, Mom. I'm
like, all right, well, it's not my choice anymore. It's your choice. So, it was COVID, so we weren't going to any toy stores. But we signed into Amazon and looked around, and it was just like mind blown. There was 500,000 different RC cars he could choose from. They were too expensive. They were made in China. They were too cheap. They had the wrong kind of batteries. They plugged, it was like walking through a landmine. And I couldn't let go. I couldn't walk away and let him choose because he signed into my Amazon account and we all know what happens when a 5-year-old is left alone on Amazon. You end up with like a pony in your backyard. So I was like, no, thank you. That's not what's going to happen here. So it took this experience that should have been really joyful, like a reward, like celebrating his success, and made it into me just saying, no, 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 no. So I thought to myself, I want a place where you can just put an appropriate assortment of products in front of a child and let them make the choice for themselves. And then all I have to do is say yes at the end of it. No more no's, just let me say yes. And there's nothing like that out there. There's no apps or prepaid credit cards that cater to this age group, which is like 5 to 12.
Okay.
So we built it. We didn't see it in the market. And I think that it's important to give kids that experience of making their own choices financially at a very young age.
Okay. So I don't, I have adult kids, but I have a, 8-year-old, and they want to, buy something. What happens? They're going to log in. I'm going to download your app.
How does it work?
Yeah.
So we have an app, or you can do it on a web app, which is app.ketshop.com.
Okay.
And you go there, you create an account for yourself, you create an account for your child, and then both of you can log in and add things to the shop. So adding things to a shop just means like stuff you might be interested in. It might be like 3 different RC cars, a trampoline, a skateboard, whatever the child is interested in.
Okay.
They can look through for themselves, search for what they're interested in. And then if they really like something, they can set it as a goal. And then over time, as they earn money, you can see that they and you can see their progress towards that goal, towards reaching the thing that they really want most.
Okay.
And as a parent, you can be sending them money for chores or set up a recurring allowance, however you structure your family. But it's all virtual money. So it's not like any money is actually being taken out of your bank account. It's not until the child reaches that goal and says, yes, I want to buy this skateboard. It costs $50. Dad, like, here, I started buying it. And then you check it out and you're like, yeah, this is the right size for my kid. This is my kid's spending his own money. So I'm going to say yes. And then you check out and buy that thing.
Okay. So they actually buy the item through your application.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
We do sell some things on our own. We fulfill certain products, but there's just so much out there, and we're a mom and pop shop. So we do a lot of like third party stuff too. So if you have something really specific you want, you can hook up with, Amazon or, your corner store or wherever you actually want to get the item that you're buying.
Okay. So how did this all come about?
It's really been an exercise in finding like something that fills a gap in our family. I was feeling like I want my kids to have these experiences early where they are spending their money, they are making mistakes, they are experiencing buyer's remorse on these small items so that when your kid like buys a cheap toy and it breaks, they can think to themselves like, oh, I bought a cheap toy, it broke. What am I learning from this?
Because let's not do that again. Buyer's remorse. I shouldn't have bought that $80,000 car.
Yes,
Wrong
that's
time
the
to learn
idea.
that
Like,
lesson.
it's better to buy a $8 car and feel disappointed than an $80,000 car and feel disappointed. So my goal is to help kids make these mistakes early and like feel the thrill of success early so that they can start like figuring out how this crazy world of ours works.
Right. You know what I noticed through practical experience? I took my son. It's a great story. I'll give you the quick version, but I took him. I was an ex-athlete, but I never pushed my kids to get into sports. Like whatever you want to do is cool with me. I've been there, done that. I don't need to live vicariously. But anyway, my youngest son pops up in one day out of the blue and he's like, I want to play football. And I'm like, okay, but can you wait till we're finished watching this movie? Then you can play. I thought he meant the video game, right?
Yeah.
So yada, yada, yada. Fast forward, we're at Dick's Sporting Goods looking at cleats. Okay.
Okay. Okay.
And I just skipped forward a whole lot, but I was excited he wanted to play football as an ex-football player. So we're looking at cleats, and if you go into the shoe store, or at least Dick's, they have these shoes on the wall, and the most expensive pair of shoes at the top, and
Yeah.
then the most affordable shoes is at eye level, and then the cheap shoes are at the bottom. So we're looking at shoes, and of course my kid is like looking at these shoes up at the top, and they're the most expensive shoes, and I'm drooling, he's drooling. I'm like, man, if I had those shoes, I was all state and all conference and all that stuff, but if I had those shoes, I'd have been all world. We're just drooling.
Yeah.
So
it was the shoes.
It was the shoes, right?
The shoes.
It was the shoes. So he decides he wants these designer shoes. They're the color of the school he goes to, which is attached to the same colors as the scheme as the high school. So he's like, I want these shoes. They're custom shoes. And I'm like, great. Did you bring your wallet? And he's like, no, what do I need my wallet for? I said, well, Dad's paying for these shoes, right? This price level, but I'll still give you the money. I'll give you the $60 for this level. But if you want to spend $90, then you need to come up with the other $30. And he's like, wow, these shoes look really good right here, Dad.
Yeah. So I've been in that experience before.
Yeah. You start teaching it early, and they start prioritizing. They're crying, they got to have this until they have to put their own money in. And if he had his wallet, which he didn't have, but even if he had it, I even told him, I'll front you the money. Don't worry about it. You pay me back when you get home. Nah, I'm good. I like these right here.
Yeah.
So I think what you're doing is excellent, because what people don't have is they don't have that gauge. They don't have that governor that says, it's always, I want this. And if they have enough money to get it, they get it. And then next week, before the other thing even arrives, they want something else. And then they want something else. And before you know it,
they have that delayed gratification. You got to boom, boom, boom. Bring it. Yeah.
So do you guys do anything as far as like financial literacy for kids? Like with the app, do you talk about that, or the parents, or do you tell them how to set it up to have these conversations?
Yeah. We do a bit of it. We're building a library of like resources that kids and parents can view together, or parents can watch just if they want to have some clarity too. But at the moment, the way we've structured it is so that it's really more on the family to have those conversations. Mm-hmm. So, when you're sending your child money, you can attach a note, and it might say like, for mowing the lawn, or I'm taking $2 because you bought a cookie today and I paid for it. So just being able to like have a record and being able to see the history of how the money's flowing in your family. If you're a divorced family, like maybe you're seeing that dad's giving more than mom, or dad's assigning more chores.
Right.
And so it makes it easier to have those communications, mm-hmm. because you do have a track record of how money's coming in, where it's going out, and like what it's being spent on.
Do you have an adult version of this? Because
I know, right?
I would venture to guess there's a lot of adults that need to have a wish list, that kind of sits for a little bit while they're accumulating the proper funds to make certain purchases. That might be beneficial for some adults.
Yeah, for sure. I think the act of saving up for something really increases the enjoyment you get when you actually achieve that item. Like when we first started, my younger kids would just like, as soon as they had a buck, they'd spend a buck. Mm-hmm. It was like boom, 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 boom. But over time, like as these cheapo little items rolled in, they realized like, I had to wait like 2 weeks to get this ring pop or whatever it was, like some tiny stuffed animal. And now they're saving up more and more, and they are starting to dream. Like my daughter yesterday, she's 6, and she said, I want to go on a trip. Like, how much does it cost to go to Hawaii? I'm like, well, shoot, girl, that's more than you're ever going to be able to save up at 6 years old. But, like, let's figure it out. Like, maybe if we can have all 3 kids earn their own tickets, Dad and I will pay for hotels and meals and all that other stuff.
I like it.
It's a way of approaching family life that I hadn't thought we'd be doing, where it's like the kids instigating vacations, or, they're spending their own money. So, if you guys want to go spend the weekend in San Francisco, all right, like, let's do that. That wasn't my plan, but it sounds great.
Sounds great. It sounds like a great educational lesson. And now what are we going to do when we get here? Because, you all have spending. So what
now you guys are all broke. So we're going to go sit on the beach.
Exactly. Wow. I just think that, being a financial consultant for 30 plus years, I think it's a great tool. What has the reception been, or the communication been about people that are using it?
So far, people have been really stoked on it. One of the parents I've spoken with, she was just like, oh my God, my kid has lost 4 jackets in 4 months. It was like, he'd wear it to school. He'd come home without it. Like almost every week, it was like another jacket gone. And she told me that she stopped buying him new things. And his options were he could go scrounge around in the lost and found and like basically steal some lost jacket, or he could save up and buy his own. And so
let's call it reappropriation.
I mean, I'm a thrifty lady. I would scrounge around in a thrift store bucket for sure. But
Absolutely.
This kid,
we won't say steal.
He was a little fancier. Yeah.
What did it say?
Reappropriate.
Reappropriate.
Okay. So he decided he wanted a new jacket. And so he saved up and he bought himself like some slick coat that mom would have never picked. She was like, this thing is hideous, but he loves it, and he didn't lose it. He's kept it for a year now because it's something he invested in both financially and emotionally. Mm-hmm. It's an expression of himself because it's like a Pokemon jacket or something. And this kid like has pride because he's accomplished something that instead of being given the thing, he earned the thing. So Absolutely. I think that's really cool. And it's like, it's spending money on things that you need, not toys necessarily. You
Absolutely. I mean, that's a great lesson. And I
love those stories.
I love the stories too. How many stories have we heard about kids losing their glasses or, something like that. And you're just like, dude, I'm not replacing your glasses anymore.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Or I'm going to replace them, but here's what it cost. And here's how you're going to pay me back.
Yeah. You're in the hole, kid.
You're in the hole. I love it. Now, what grade you said she's 6 years old? What is that, kindergarten?
My daughter.
Yeah. Your daughter.
She's in first grade now. Yeah.
First grade. Okay.
She started first.
So she started lecturing the other kids about spending. And...
I think it's more of a pride thing. Like we went to a farmer's market and there was a woman selling like vintage clothes, and she found a dress she really liked. And she was like, oh, I want to buy this dress. And so I was like, all right, this is a summer dress. It's starting to get cold. I'm not going to buy it for you, but if you want it, you can buy it for yourself. So she did. And I like took the money out of her Ketshop account, and it is her favorite item. She wears it whenever she can. And every time someone's like, oh, what a pretty dress, she's like, I bought it myself.
I love it.
I used my own money. I was like, dang, girl. Yes, you did. Good for you.
I love it. So what's it like working with your spouse? How's that?
It's mostly good. I would say like we're almost like the perfect yin and yang, where okay. I'm like the creative, I'm the like front of the company. I do all the like design work. I call myself the steering wheel of our car, and okay. He's the motor. So he does all the like behind the scenes stuff that like keeps things running. It's like you definitely need both.
Absolutely.
But yeah, it is a little tricky because we are partners in like raising 3 kids, like owning a home and caring for it, and also like starting and launching a business. So there's a lot of times those lines get blurred where it's like, getting to be like a romantic hour of the night, and we're like, all right, what's our plan for tomorrow? Like, how many emails do we need to send out? Like, what did you do? Did you take care of this account? And it's like, it's not really sexy stuff all the time.
Yeah, but, I wasn't there. I was going somewhere else, honey. But
I mean, it's it's good to have a partner that you can count on.
Absolutely,
and,
I love the
we're
idea.
Just very invested in each other, so there's no backing out.
Well, what's the future look like for Ketshop?
Oh, well, I was saying that we're working on a library. I'm kind of revamping our social media, and I want to add more educational resources for our families and for anyone who might be interested, just to get the word out about how like financial basics work.
Okay.
Because I even like as an adult, I feel like I wasn't educated enough through, growing up in the American school system.
Mhm.
So I think that is something that most parents need to supplement in their kids' life. And so
Right.
I want to be able to put something together that's fun, educational, and like pretty quick to digest, not like a deep dive into any one topic, but just kind of like,
Excellent.
here, let's get you acclimated.
Right. Well, that's excellent. I love it. You already know I love it. I think that again, it can change the game. I think it can filter up, from the kids to the parents, as in prioritizing, what
Hmm.
we need, what we should do, and what's next. And do we have money saved for this? Or are we going to do it out of cash flow, which always is not a good idea. But in
Yeah.
any event, I think it can flow upwards and help a lot of families. I think, having conversations, because money conversation is taboo,
So
talking
taboo.
about those type things. So, as little kids, you get an allowance and then your parents still bought whatever you wanted. So, and you spent your money on suckers and popsicles, but the way you have it structured, and kids nowadays, they want to buy, computer game things,
Yeah.
and all those type of things. So I think this is a great space to teach them without saying no and being heavy all the time or having a scarcity mindset. So you can get whatever you want, got to save up for it.
Yeah.
So,
It's not a
so
no, it's a not
it's,
yet.
it's not a no. It's like, hey, let's plan for it. And is this really what
Yeah.
you want to spend your money on? So,
Mhm.
so I love it. And I thank you for sharing that with us. I hope all of our families reach out. It is, for those of you that are listening, it is ketshop.com. Go check it out. And if you have little ones in your family that are still impressionable enough to take the lead on buying things and wanting things, I think it's a great opportunity for them to learn, for you to learn, and for you to infuse and overcome the mistakes that you made at an early age so they don't have to fall in the same pits. With that, I want to thank you for coming. I'm Derick Gant. I want you to be your best, bring your best, leave nothing to chance.